Whew. Hello guys, welcome my friends, welcome to Prague Airport, runway 30, and I was really considering for a long time in order to make this video or not make this video, because with the hardware configuration I have, it's really pretty challenge to me to perform today topics, and I will show the picture of my hardware. So basically it's really hard to do it, and the today topics is it will be a few days ago I made a video about the rejected takeoff before V1, and right now we are making a video of the let's say engine failure after V1 and what is the correct procedure. Please be aware of the fact that this is for flight simulator purpose only, and be aware of the fact that with this hardware configuration it's hard for me, because in real life when I am flying in one engine operative on flight simulator, I have one hand on control column, which are constantly depicted changing the trim settings. I have the rudder pedals, and I have one hand to adjust this knob, which is basically setting the rudder trimming to the left or to the right when which engine is in operative. So this is one reason. For the time being, we are currently making this procedure, or let's say this will be more or less procedural focus, because I can't imagine how can I do it with one hand to fly the airplane with one engine in operative, but anyway, maybe I will put it into the first some crucial informations which you can do if you have better hardware configuration, if you have honeycomb, and you can adjust thrust levers, and you have rudder pedals, so you can really enjoy flight simulator flying. So the first, all the crews and all the time which they are departing, the crews must brief the engine out SID. In Prague Airport it's quite simple, because engine out SID it's straight ahead and radar vectors. Okay, so basically nothing special. I did some modification that we will climb to 8,000 feet, and I will put in order to reduce the workload, I will put the 10,000 feet of transition altitude in order not to make a big mess with this situation. Okay, so in Prague Airport initial altitude is 5,000 and transition 5,000 as well, but for our purpose today we have 8,000 feet and transition altitude 10,000 feet. Okay, and what is the correct procedure when you have engine failure? You must first of all know about the engine out SID. I will put right now the picture in Bratislava Airport, and there is SID for runway 31. And this SID is quite complicated. It's not so complicated when you are flying on flight simulator and you have all stuff around, but I was considering to fly this kind of one engine inoperative departure, but with this hardware configuration I will hardly perform this kind of departure. So look at the picture, and there is the peak teeth that from Oscar Bravo DME 1.1 turning right to the Juliet Alpha November, which is Janoce VOR, and climbing at least to MSA, which is 3000 feet. But anyway, in Prague we are going to fly at least to MSA 5000 feet, or maybe we will climb to 8000 feet. This is the first. You must know your SID. What happens if engine failures after V1? Another situation is that we are MCC. So one is pilot flying and one is communicating. Why am I mentioning this? Because right after positive rate gear up, the pilot monitoring just declared the Mayday code and intentions, and that's it. That's it, and air traffic controller should have the scenario for this situation. Okay. Second thing, the both pilots must be aware of the procedure. What are they going to do? And I will write the procedure right for you. Just check it. And basically the procedure says that no action will be up to 400 feet. We just stabilize the airplane, trying to keep the airplane on the center line, but I will try to keep it on the center line. Once we are at 400 feet, the procedure is slightly different from company to company, but the basic idea is the same. Put the heading select, okay, and start the APU. The company we flew for, it's the best solution to start the APU with 400 feet because APU is part of the checklist, okay, no normal checklist within QRH. So you will no longer waiting for your APU to start and be available. You just put it on the bus. Okay, so at 400 feet, heading select, start the APU, and then we can identify the failure and verify the failure. Once the failure is verified, the pilot monitoring will perform the memory items. So this is another story, and you should know from QRH all of the memory items. Okay, it's not related to engines. It could be related to unreliable airspeed, and so on, or rapid decompression. So in our cases, we are performing memory items like engine fire, severe damage, or separation checklist. And as we are performing to do this procedure, the correct conversation is auto throttle confirm disengage, and the pilot flying will tells confirm disengaged. For example, we have left engine out. Okay, so left engine number 1 thrust lever confirm closed, and the pilot flying will guard it, the live engine, and pilot monitoring will close the thrust lever of the engine. Then he will tell the engine start lever number 1 confirm cutoff. Again, pilot flying will keep the hand on the live, and pilot monitoring will shut down the engines, shut down the close the thrust levers, and depending on the fire or the nature of the problem, pilot monitoring will just tell that engine number 1 override and confirm override and pull, and again autopilot flying will keep the hand on the live engine. And that's memory items is completed, and we may start the accelerate airplane. The acceleration height, sometimes it's basically the companies have approximately 800 feet, 1000 feet, or it should be specified by engine alt SID that with this altitude you should accelerate because, okay, you have some troubles, okay. So you will set put a bug up, that means you will set flaps up speed and retract flaps with the scheduled. Once the flaps are retracted, he will perform normal procedure like auto brake off, landing gear up and off, and start switches back to normal position, and he will put the level change and couple the autopilot on which the engine is working. If we have engine number 1 not working, that means that we couple the autopilot B. If engine number 2 is not working, we are couple the autopilot A engaged, okay. But you can couple the autopilot within the QRH procedure, and we will go with the QRH procedure next now, because I have the QRH in my head, so we will not go deeply through it. And then he will put the N1 limit page and set maximum continuous thrust, and adjust the thrust settings according to the speed, desired speed, okay, and put the transponder to emergency code 7700. Then he will perform after takeoff checklist, and then he will perform non-normal checklist, okay. And once non-normal checklist is done, we are going to engine inoperative checklist. One engine inoperative checklist, landing checklist, and this leads us how to perform all the switches down to the landing checklist, okay. There are some few things that, for example, checklist complete except deferred items, okay. So, and deferred items, it's another part of checklist, and so on and so on. And now this is the theory, but now listen very carefully. Regarding to the engine failure, why I have this blank? Because in some airplanes, some options, but it's not all. Some options, if there is engine failure, it appears here, and the nature of the problem. On some options, it appears on lower the U. That's why I keep it blank, because it pops up and I can know that, hey, I have some problems. And what is the main purpose? It's proper identification of the problem. Because if you are trying to solve the problem for half an hour, and you are trying to solve the problem which is, let's say, within something different, that is the main problem, you lose your time, you waste your time, and it can damage another system and leads to let's say worst condition, okay. So the first failure what we have, it's engine flame out. How we realize that we have engine flame out? Engine flame out, most of the times the engine flame out comes with the heavy rain showers of let's say your pitch altitude is way too high, or maybe some temporary FedEx fault, and you know that you have engine flame out, that your N1 and N2 is still rotating, but it's rotating down, okay, but it's still rotating. In this case, we can try to let's say in-flight start the engines, and we can in-flight start the engines via two ways: a windmill and cross-bleed start. It depends on the altitude and the speed, okay? And Boeing is smart enough, and you'll read here X-bleed, for example, or windmill, okay? Okay, so this is engine flame out. Second failure, which could be on the engine. Engine failure. What does it mean, engine failure? Engine failure means that there is a structural problem with the engines, and you are not allowed to make an attempt to start the engines once again, because it can lead to more serious situation. And how we know that we have engine failure? We know it as we have no N1, no N2 rotation, or let's say N1 or N2 stacks, okay? So this is the engine failure. Then could be engine severe damage or separation. That means that all your engines from this part are separating completely, okay? It can damage as well your leading edge device without any further problems. And how we can know that we have engine severe damage? We know that again N1, N2, no rotations or stack, and there are a few important facts. Oil quantity is 0, because it's because engine severe damage means that you lose your oil from the engine, so there is no indications of the oil, and you have fall detection. That means that the fall detection loops are thrown, and that's why you know that you have engine severe damage. And the last failure should be engine fire. That's pretty easy, because you hear the warning ball, warning horn, and you can see it with a red light, a master caution, overheat, and you see which one of the engines are basically illuminated, okay? Be aware of the fact that you have only 3 bottles. 1 bottle is for APU, but 2 bottles are for engines. So if you are trying to, or let's say if you have any of failure except engine fire, you must press this switch and pull it up. But if you have engine fire, you can directly put it up and rotate it into whatever side you like, and wait for 30 seconds. If with 30 seconds it's still illuminated, you put it on the next side and wait for 30 seconds. If it is still illuminated, you are in serious troubles, and you have to go onto the ground as soon as possible. But we always extinguish the fire without any problems. So basically there are 2 bottles. So 1 bottle, wait 30 seconds, another bottle, wait 30 seconds. So that's the theory, and let's come to the practical side, and we'll see how it looks like. Okay. So let's go for departure. So 40. And then press toga. And here we can go. The knots we have checked. V1, rotate. Okay. So we have positive rate right now. Gear up. So no action up to 400 feet. And I will with one hand press mouse button and so on, so please disregard that flight directors are showing one times on one direction and so on. So we put heading select, we start the APU and we identify the problem. So we have engine number 1 failure. So engine number 1 failure confirmed. So that means that autopilot is disengaged. It's disengaged. That's quite okay. Thrust lever number 1 confirm closed. Start lever number 1 confirm cutoff. So it's cut off, and engine fire warning switch override and pull, and that's basically it. I will put right now, and what we are doing in real airplane, so we may start the accelerate the airplane anyway. So we put the flaps up speed like now, and what we are doing, we are adjusting the rudder on the live engine, and I will tell you something a little bit more about that, but anyway, just keep it like it is. Okay, so put flaps 1. Flaps 1 is okay. We can put the flaps up position. Okay, we have flaps up, no light. Just press level change. So level change we have, and autopilot be engaged. It means command. And now we can trim the airplane, because as you can see he will fly into another direction a little bit, but it's well trimmed, it's okay, it's without any further problems. And remember me, so after takeoff procedure, like this one as well, and after takeoff checklist, engine blitz on, PEX auto, landing gear up and off, flaps up, no lights. So after takeoff checklist complete to line, because transition altitude is 10,000 feet, and we may stop let's say at 5,000 feet, for example. Okay, so at 5,000 feet it will stop the airplane. Air traffic controllers give us the heading, for example, for this side. And with the N1 limit we should put the continuous. So we have continuous, as you can see the bug is right over there, so we can put it like this one, and that's okay in order to reduce the speed and climb. I will reduce the thrust of the live engine, so that's okay, that's pretty fine. And what are we going to do next? We checked the QRH as well. So what we have to do, so auto thrust confirm disengage is disengaged, engine thrust lever number 1 confirm closed, it's closed, engine start lever number 1 confirm cut off, it's cut off, and engine fire warning switch override and pull and engine severe damage separation complete. And as you can see, we have cross bleed start, but as I saw you before, with no N rotation I will not recommend it, this situation. What I can do, I will put the Praha airport into the fixed page with 10 miles ring, just to have the situational awareness where we are. And now we have memory items completed, we have checklist basically completed, and we are going to one engine in operative checklist, and I will just we'll go through the checklist to line except the deferred items. And what does it say? It says that we can put it into 77 transponder or TA, because we are no availability of the climb. And APU is available, so APU put on bus, and we can easily couple the autopilot A, because we have APU on bus, so that means the source of autopilot AC source transfer bus number 1 is working, so it's okay. We can put the left back switch, because this engine is inoperative, to off position and isolation valve to close position. If we have severe icing conditions, we may deviate the procedure with isolation valve to open and let the wing anti-ice to be in on position. Now we have to put the flap inhibit to flap inhibit, because we are going to use the gear down flaps 15 configuration. Okay, so, and now we have imbalance. How we can get rid of imbalance? First of all, crossfeed, make it bright then dim, and lower side always off. That's the supplementary procedure. Okay, so now it's completed. We can ask for cabin crew, explain the situation, prepare for emergency landing. We can put the med report from Praha airport, which runway is in use, and in order to have the emergency facilities prepared for our let's say relanding. Okay, so we put it like this one, and what we can do right now, it's put departure arrival, and on arrival, as we are radar vectors, we put just the ILS like now, and with the ILS we will put the final approach fix, or let's say this is the intermediate fix, and 303, which is inbound course. Okay, so it is using for the radar vectors. it a little bit like this one, and it should be quite perfect and quite okay. A little bit more thrust on the engine number 2, and yeah, basically that's it. And we have to prepare the airplane for the re-landing. That means that we are going from upside. Okay, so 303 is the heading. Okay, it's final approach course. Sorry for ILS. We are using auto brake 3 without any discussion because we are on emergency, and FMC is set. We have proper QNH set. That's quite okay. A little bit more thrust. Okay, so this is set. FMC is set, and navigation course for approach runway 30. It's 109.5. 109.5, and this is the reason why I am always preparing at least one side of the MCP and now setting for re-landing in order to reduce the workload in critical phase of the flight. Okay, so and now we can put the minimums 1432. So basically we have it prepared, so that's okay. And the next will be set up our gross weight. It's 145 for flaps 15. We are not using this procedure like in we are making comparing the fuel and the remaining fuel and so on. So we put just flaps 15 like this one plus 5, and that means that 150 will be our approach speed. Okay, and if we are in doubt, we can increase the speed. And now everything is set up. We will make a briefing, and basically that's it, and we can go down. So that means 4,000 feet, and gentle always when you are with one engine in operative. So a little bit put the speed down. Okay, we have master caution, and that's what I was expected. It's off schedule descent. That means that we are not reaching our climbing altitude, so we have to reset it. Hey, okay, so 5,000 feet. We put 4,000 in order to not have that. And landing altitude, if you are flying to destination with, for example, 400, 800 feet, you cannot do this procedure anymore because you are basically coming back, and airplane is smart enough and he remember your departure altitude. So but it's part of the checklist, so we have to check it, and in order to avoid the off-schedule descent and to have the proper So flaps 1, we may start with a turn. Regarding to bank angle, use bank angle 15 always when you are climbing with V2. If you are climbing or your speed is higher than V2 plus 15 or V2 plus 20, regarding to as well company procedure, so you don't need to use the bank angle of 15. Okay, we can go down. And now we have to adjust the thrust. Need to put more right rudder because we have engine number 1 inoperative. More thrust because we are below flaps 5. That's not good condition and not good sign for us. And regarding to the final configuration, it's better to put the final configuration as you have a glide slope captured in order to avoid, let's say, if you are overloaded, sometimes the airplane has the problem to keep the altitude with flaps 15 setting. Okay, so this is not the Boeing recommended procedure, but it's the procedure which we as a crews found the best solution. Okay. And watch over the temperature if it is okay. And we can read the deferred items approach checklist. So QNH 1013 set and cross checked, everything is okay, everything is fine. Okay, we are slightly turning back to the localizer. So we have a final fix. Inbound course 303 right now. Put it over there. Temperature is 12, that's okay. And as you're on the final approach, no longer manipulate with your fuel if you're not satisfied. We have difference approximately 800 kilograms. So I will leave it until the ground on this situation. Okay. So we are slightly approaching the center line. And glide slope is alive as well, and this should be final approach point. So at this point we should have glide slope captured. Okay, it's because from this chart you can see, okay, this is depicted the coded point and is 4000 feet, and we have already 4000 feet. As I am talking, I am no longer watching the speed. I'm sorry about that. And we can make a turn. Okay, we can put localizer. Localizer has captured that perfect approach. Miss approach heading 303 is set, and we are a little bit high on the speed, so I need to correct myself. And now gear down, flaps 15. And we should have speed 150. And as we are established, we have miss approach altitude set, cruise is set. As we are established on the ILS, and then we can make a procedure that means engine start switch continuous, speed brake arm. Okay, it's arm position, and flaps 15 green light. And what does the checklist means? I will say engine start switch continuous and pilot flying set continuous, speed brake arm and pilot flying set arm, landing gear down, pilot flying says down, flaps 15 green light, pilot flying says flaps 15 green light. Okay, so that's it. And we can put it back. So now it's okay, and now we can close the crossfeed valve, but again it's non-standard from me because you shouldn't manipulate with it during the approach. Okay, if you would like to perform the go around, you'll perform go around, set the thrust. Okay, when positive rate, gear up and put flaps 1 and retract flaps on scheduled and make the procedure again. So as you can see, it's the haze or fog or mist, some kind of mist. Temperature is 14, so we don't need the engine anti-ice, and we can put the autopilot off and fly it manually. Okay, or let's say try to fly it manually.
1000.
Okay, a little bit less thrust. Okay, keep the pitch attitude, more thrust.
Approaching minimums.
A little bit low. Need to correct myself. Minimum's landing.
100.
Okay.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Okay, and now we are safely on the ground. In a real flight simulator, I will use the thrust reverse on live engine. Speed brakes are up, and that's quite okay. And I can perform manual braking, and basically that's it. So I will stop on the runway, put the parking brakes, and if we are performing evacuation, we put flaps directly to flaps 40 and make the evacuation checklist, in which you can see right on the picture above. So I hope you liked this video, and I'm pretty sorry for let's say not good flight technique, but as you can see with this configuration I can hardly do any better. So I hope you like this video much, and thank you very well for the watching, and leave me the comment below if you have any. So that's it. Airplane is safely on the ground, passengers are happy, so that's it. Have a nice day, and see you next time. Bye bye.